Hello, people. Real John Sinclair TV back again tonight. I've got the usual suspects, Paul and Louise. How are you guys? You good?
All good, you?
Yeah, I'm great. Not very bad, guys. Not very bad at all. And yes, I mean, big announcement is going to come up soon. It's already on Twitter. I've got a new partnership as well, which I'm going to reveal if you don't know what it is, and I will reveal it very, very soon. And we are going to do a new content called Twitter Reacts. And the reason we're doing this is because of what's going on for the last 24 hours. And people are kicking off on the membership meltdown. That was yesterday. And now the owners has listened. You've got to keep the fans on side. That's exactly what they've done. And we're going to go through the tweets, the best tweets, positives, and some negatives as well. And we discuss that as well, and digest it, and away we go. So, Paul, I'll start with you. Give us your little breakdown of what happened yesterday on the meltdown of memberships. 44 quid, 77 quid. People's kicking off. People's having a meltdown online. I had myself on it as well. And yeah, take it away, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be fair, since the membership announcement, there's been a fair kickoff about just that alone. The membership's caused a bit of a stir with the ballot system, whether that's fair or unfair, or what that's going to entail. And then obviously a few days later, or was it the day after, we announced the Aston Villa game with the ballots. And then the thing that I think took everyone by surprise was if you won the ballot, this is going back before the change. If you won the ballot, it was between 24 to 77?
44.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So it was a strange one. So I could, let's say I didn't have a season ticket, I could enter the ballot, I could win it, but maybe I've only got £40 in the bank account, let's just say. I win it and they go, oh, well done, Paul, you've won, the highest ones would be what, Platinum Club, would you say? Roughly
74 quid's worth. I don't know where they go, but 74 quid.
Yeah.
So wherever seats are, I'm going to guess Platinum Club or somewhere, like that. And then it's like, and then they were saying that we're going to take a payment pretty much immediately. So it's like, well, I don't have it. I've only got 40 quid in the account. The big anger was about that, hey, I haven't got 70, 60 pounds to spend. Why can't I choose, hey, I don't mind sitting up in the gods for 20 odd quid. I don't care. Like, if I got a ticket, I got a ticket. So I think that was a lot of the kickoff yesterday in particular.
Gonna have to kind of agree there, because the thing is, though, you got to pay 74 quid that ticket, and you haven't got that sort of money in your bank, then that's going to be a bit of a problem. And the thing is as well, Louise, I mean, thank God they have come out and said that we've listened to the fans, we're going to do something about this. You're going to pay the money and you can have a choice of your seat. And I think fair play to Down the Hills and Newcastle United to come up, and the owners come out and say things like that.
Yeah, brilliant. I think Amanda said right in the beginning, we won't get it all right, but we'll listen and we'll react. And they've just proved it again. That's exactly what happened. I don't know if it was planned the way it was, or whether that was just an unseen consequence, or whether whoever set it up just didn't realise that, even if you have got 74 quid left in your bank, you might need to feed 4 or 5 kids with that. So you just not real world. So it was a mistake, but I think it was a mistake. They've listened, they've reacted really, really quickly and put that right. What have we got to complain about? I think, that there's economics, there's, affordability questions. I know, John, that you're quite concerned about that. There's also physics. You just cannot get all of the people who want to be in St. James's Park in St. James's Park. So they're going to have to work within that always. And that means that some people will be disappointed. But I think as long as it's done in a reasonable way, and the change they made yesterday changed it from unreasonable back to reasonable, I don't think we can ask much more.
I totally agree, Louise. At the end of the day, people have to understand who's watching this channel, whether in America or in the globe. If you don't understand, the Northeast region is one of the poorest, the most hard-hit area in the country, and that's number one. Number two, right, you've got a cost of living crisis as well still, and people ain't going to come out and pay that sort of money. If you've got a family of 3 or 4, then that's going to cost you the best part of 200 quid at least. If you're gonna go to all 19 games and pay 77 quid a pop, that's 1,200 quid a season. That is more than my season ticket and your season ticket, Paul, as well. Which for me, by the way, it's wrong. It's totally wrong. And I think they need to check on the prices again. In my opinion, yes, they got it wrong, but they admitted that they're not always going to get it right. But at the end of the day, right, you lost to them. They come out and they listen, and that's the most important thing. Get the fans on side.
Absolutely. I think it's all right to have expensive tickets as long as there's a choice and as long as they don't price out, everybody. If there is still 20 quid tickets, I don't know if there are, but if there are 20 quid tickets that people can get to, and also I don't really think that anybody's going to be lucky in the ballot all for every single match. So I don't think that will really happen unless you've got a different view. I don't think that anybody's going to be spending all that money because none of us are going to be that lucky, unfortunately.
Yeah, we do totally agree there, Louise. You're 100% right. What we're going to do, we're going to go into the Twitter as well. It's Twitter reacts, and this is what Newcastle United handler came out and said. Newcastle United have adjusted the ballot process for members purchasing home match tickets at St James's Park following feedback from supporters. Paul, fair play to them. Like I said, they got it so right.
Yeah, and I think obviously seeing some of the more sensible tweets yesterday from like the Supporters Trust and the fan groups and stuff that I follow, and War Flags as well. Like I think a few of these may have, because a lot of these have contacts in the club. I think they would have maybe have aired these views and said that, look, the feedback has not been the best. Again, like think of where we are. Think of it as Louise said. Think of the North is what it is. It's not the richest place on the planet. We're not in Saudi Arabia where lots of people are very well off in some cases. And sometimes I wonder whether that's maybe misjointed some of their ideas when it comes to like the pricing and thinking that everyone can just afford everything. Comes with experience, but yeah, to be fair to them, what's that? Less than 24 hours, pretty much, to hear that and change it. I mean, if we were under, hate saying his name, but if we were under Mr. Ashley, this would not have changed. It would have stayed the same no matter what we said. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have cared. It wouldn't have, it wouldn't have mattered what we did, protest, whatever. It would have been tough. That's what it is. Get over it.
Exactly. Go on, Louise.
And I was just going to say, those groups and supporters clubs have made representations. They've made they've made our feelings known, but we don't have to get silly about it. We don't have to get disrespectful about it. It was a mistake. Anyone can make them. They've heard. They've put it right. I think we were spiraling, and we've been spiraling, I think, for a couple of weeks into negativity about transfers and other stuff. And I've said on here a few times, and I'll continue to say it. I'll say it to anybody who's listening at the weekend, we need to get united behind the team. We need to stop. It's almost like we're so fearful that we're going to be mistreated that we're fighting before we are. They've proven they're doing the right thing. Relax 100%. And enjoy it.
100%, Louise. Totally agree. We need to take a chill pill and everyone will be happy. I've got one from Rob as well, and Rob Nicholson, and he tweeted, well played, NUSC. You've listened to feedback and acted swiftly. Brilliant. Also, well done to NUSC Trust and NUSC 2023 for voicing the fans' concerns. You know what? In my opinion, I think that's a brilliant tweet right there. They done something about it very quickly, and fair play to Newcastle United as well. We've got one from Lane Husband. I look at this one as well. Looked at it quite a few times. Our owners have shown once again that do listen and have changed their ballots for home games in immediate effect in practically 24 hours. That is how you do it. No one's stonewall silence like they were under Ashley. The correct decision for everyone with memberships, Louise.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that. I think one of the things that I'm seeing is another concern is sharing of the season tickets and sharing so that people who are in your family could maybe have gone in the past. I think that's so now families who are used to going are maybe going to struggle to go, and I think that's probably another area of concern that hopefully we might see. I don't know if we'll see addressed, but hopefully we might see that being addressed. But we just got to keep feeding back what isn't working and be reasonable.
Absolutely, and it is a massive improvement as well. I mean, it's good to have commitment as well. Louise, you're absolutely right again. Got one from Martin Paul. This one here, I like this one. Well, but there's a few feel like complete effing idiots. Excuse me the pun. This morning, given them moronic reactions yesterday, was a bad decision by the club, but I knew they would take concerns in board. Another great tweet there, Paul. And you know what it is, right? I mean, people need to calm down a little bit. I know I've seen Adam Pearson's channel yesterday, and he said that he called him out if you think something wasn't right. And I think, to me, I think it's a cracking tweet, this one there.
Well, it's, you know, and this is the thing that, you know, these people are, you know, like I said, that they're you know, they are going to make mistakes. You know, they're human. We're all human. We've all, you know, we've all made mistakes. You know, I've worked in a career in the health industry for the last 20 years of my life, pretty much. And you think I haven't made a mistake in that lifetime? Of course you have. You know, you make mistakes because you learn on the job. You learn from experience. When I teach people, you know, I teach people now because I can say to them, I've lived that experience. I know what that is. Where Amanda Staveley has never owned, you know, they haven't owned a football club before. And some of these things are going to be new to them. You know, or maybe again, like they probably had a meeting about it. They thought, you know, fans want to go, you know, they want a membership, that's fine. They'll win the ballot, they'll be happy. You know, whatever tickets we've got, they'll have, because you know, the people are so keen to go. And maybe they just thought, well, you know, would they care what they got? Probably not. But when they've had the feedback, it's like, look, remember that, you know, not everyone can afford the £70, you know, fee up front. They just can't, you know, because as I said, you know, 3 kids or whatever. You know, or whatever, you know, if you're on a, you know, on a lower wage, it's tough, you know. You know, people still want to see Newcastle, but they can't always go above and beyond. So it's a sensible, it's really positive to see that, like we said a few times, they've taken it on board very quickly, and they've obviously thought, well, we've made a real big error there. Let's make it fairer.
Yeah, absolutely right, and that's exactly what they've done. I mean, got Paul G from here saying, "I'm not buying, no pun intended this. They made a mistake and put it right. Crap. But yes, they knew what they were doing. They were just testing the waters to see if they can get away with it. Obviously, they didn't. Just because they're better than Ashley doesn't mean they are good guys. People, well, Paul, I'm going to tweet there, right? Our owners have made a mistake. They've got it right. It's as simple as that. So there's no need to get stressed on that one as well. I mean, going there, I mean, it's Jamie saying, I still think the cheapest tickets being 45 quid is wrong. 45 quid, I think that's about average price nowadays. Do you think £45 loose is still expensive?
I don't think it's too expensive, but I do think I really want the club, and I have said this before, I want the club to find ways to make it accessible for local kids, local people who have, you know, don't stand a chance of going ordinarily to get in there, because we can't lose that connection. The other thing I would talk about maybe is the digital way that we're working now. Not everybody in the Northeast or anywhere is entirely digitally savvy at the moment, or having the equipment to be able to do it. So I'm keen to see them making sure that it's accessible from a digital perspective, but also make sure it's accessible for people who can't normally afford those prices, of which there are, you know, many in the Northeast. So it's not an unreasonable price, but in our circumstances and how much the club matters to the city, we've got to find ways to get people in.
Yeah, 100%. Got one from Lisa Doherty as well. She is part of the food bank, I believe. And she tweeted, well done to Down Ills in Newcastle for listening and acted swiftly. As for pricing, everyone knew will go up, especially we improve. And yes, PIF is mega rich, but they can and won't fund every player improvement at this one investment, so things will go up. I can understand what Lisa's trying to do, because the more successful we are, the more the money goes up. And that is how it is, unfortunately, because we want to be successful at Newcastle United. So sadly, things will go up. I get that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like Lisa said, they've listened, they acted swiftly, because at the end of the day, what they don't want is fans turning on them. And not only that, and I said this to you yesterday, Reece, over the phone, that what will happen is all the other clubs who are watching, hang on a minute, Newcastle United fans are turning on the owners, and it's going to affect the players. And you know what? And we're not going to have that at our football club at all, mate.
No, don't want to see that. I'm a big fan of Lisa, have been for a long time. She does amazing work for the food bank. And just have a lot of respect for her. I know she was talking about an Irish, the Irish pub that's supporting us on Twitter the other day as well. I think she's absolutely right. And what we need to remember is that people who maybe are being priced out at the moment, the income that it's going to bring to the city is going to boost the whole city and going to boost everybody. So I think whilst it might be difficult for some people at the moment, and it is, having more money, and the tournament this weekend and other stuff like that is bringing money into the city, and it will help boost the whole city. So I think we need to appreciate that bit.
Yeah, 100% there. Got one from Hells as well. Big up to Hells. And she seems to love the last as well, and a big Newcastle fan. I can see at thousands going on general sale without an all price range. Selection option. Fans will have to adopt some form of strategy to increase their chances, but without knowledge of how many tickets per price band, that would be hard. Please, the club are listening. My opinion on that one, Hales, right? For me personally, like I said, I think they should be given a choice of tickets. I'm sure they want to pay, and if they got it, cool. If they haven't, then they're gonna have to pay the expensive one as well. And talking of that as well, the thing is though, Paul, they're not going to tell you how many tickets they got left on general sales, etc. They will not do that, and they won't do that, unfortunately. But it just won't happen. You just have to take part a lot, mate.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that I'll give an analogy of something in music, right? So my first ever concert, well, one of them was the first concerts I went to back in the 2000s. I know money's gone up and stuff, but gives you an idea. So a concert back in 2000 was probably like £15, £17 to see like a big-ish band at a decent sized venue. So and that was expensive. Where I've just paid to see Foo Fighters in Cardiff next year in the big stadium, and that cost me £90 to stand. Nothing special. You don't get any special gift, or that's just to stand and watch Foo Fighters play music. Now, I saw the Foo Fighters back in 2001, and I paid £19 to see them at Brixton Academy. And this is just what happens. Like, bands get bigger and you pay more money. Football clubs get bigger and you do sadly pay more money. It's just one of those things that, it's a shame. But it's where life is. It's just, that's just what it is. If we were stuck in League Two or something, our prices would obviously be very different, and they wouldn't be going up, or they'd be staying a certain amount or whatever. But sadly, Premier League, everything that comes with it, it's just natural, and it's it is what it is. It's it's
economics.
Yeah. It's sad.
Economics.
We all make jokes that I remember when a Freddo was 10p. When I tell people that Freddo was 10p, and now what is it now? Like £1 or something, it's just where things go,
Yeah. When I started going to the ground, it was £1.50 when I was a kid, £1.50 to get in.
Yeah. Those were the days, man, where you pay that sort of money as well. And, they're playing on muddy pitch, the fans are terracing, you name it, it's there. And you know what it is, right? It's just absolute, again, like, you look how much it is now. It's an expensive hobby, guys. It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend, the two tickets have cost me £50, which is, I think that's decent for 2 games in a row. And you can go to more than one game, which is, I like that with the cup thing. Like Saturday's like a really attractive one, because there's 3 games if you want to. You don't have to, but I like that idea that you can come in and watch the first. I can't remember what the exact team's playing. Sorry. And then we're playing second, and then the women are playing afterwards, which is cool. And then Sunday you get 2 games on top of that. So £50 is not terrible, and especially that I've seen St James's, it's nearly sold out. Like, I know they're doing money on the door now, but I think we'll be almost sold out like for the weekend, which is really really good to see. But that's that's £50, and the hotels cost me a couple of £100 because you have to travel up, and then the fuels, I have to fill up like twice because I'm coming from Oxford. Yeah. So when you put it all together, you spent like £300-400 for 2 games.
Yeah. I've heard people say that they choose not to have a family holiday. They choose that they will spend their money follow a Newcastle rather than a family holiday. But there's still people who, don't have the choice of either. And, we have to understand that that's the case. They're not all in the fortunate position we are, but it will bring more money into the whole of the city, and hopefully the whole of the city will benefit.
Very, very true. And I hope we get some big crowds on Saturday and Sunday for the Salah Cup as well. We may come back to that in a bit. I want to talk about the away tickets. I mean, look, the point system. I mean, you've got to go to Man City, you have to have 100 or more points as well. My understanding is, Paul, right, that season tickets, which doesn't meet the criteria, will be allowed to enter into a ballot. You have to apply for it as well. And do you think, right, that people like us, right, haven't got enough points, should be applying for away tickets? Or do you think it should be the same?
It's such a tough one, isn't it, with away tickets? I mean, we've had this argument, like Newcastle fans, I've been having this argument since the early 2000s. Even when we were relegated, I was having this argument with fans. A friendly one, not a nasty one, but the argument about like how fair is the point system. Because I've accrued a lot over the time I've been watching Newcastle, but I still go. And some people feel upset that maybe they went to a lot of games in the 90s or whatever in the early 2000s and then fell out of love, which is easy to do, I know, because of the whole period of time we had. But they've still got in the bank maybe 200 away points because they went to so many. And then they still get to pick and choose whatever game they want to go to, even if they haven't been for 5 or 6 years. To a home game. And I know a lot of people find that quite unfair, that system. It's a real tough one with the point system, because I feel it's fair for the people that go often, because obviously you build up that points and then you get first, and we get first dibs if you've got the points in there. But then, if just because I've got, way over 100 points in my card, someone might have 95 and not be able to apply for it, and then they have to go into a ballot and maybe not get anything, which is, again, it's hard, and especially if they've been going a lot, maybe someone who hasn't gone for 5 years to a home game or whatever, they'll just get a ticket when it goes on sale tomorrow because they'll just think, just go to Man City away, why not? It's a real hard one. I don't know what you do about it, because if you scrap the point system, then that's a lot of people unhappy, and I would get why.
I agree.
But then it's like, is it fair to have a ballot for everybody? I'm not sure. It's such a hard one to pick on, because I don't know other clubs inside and out their memberships, but I think most clubs do a point system. I mean, people might be able to put me wrong if there's other clubs that don't do that. I don't know whether the big like people at Man United, I'm not sure. I'm guessing that they do a point system for away games. I know they even have to have ballots for home games for season tickets sometimes. So, it's a tough one. It's a real hard one to get right. And I feel for the people that can't get it, and I feel for the people who have had a lot of away games recently, but maybe they don't have quite 100 points yet.
I tell you what, though, I've got 8 points, and it's got no chance of me going to the away game as well. There's a tweet there from Susan NUFC. She said that away tickets should be ballot too. Nobody has a chance of ever going away. Do you think she's right, Louise?
I don't think nobody has a chance. I think that's an extreme view, but I take the point that it's just so tough. I don't know a better solution. I don't know a different way to do it. It's tough, but I would also say there's lots of other ways to enjoy it, even if you're not there. So, there's lots of ways without even breaking the law. You can watch it on TV quite often. You can watch it in a pub with your mates. Quite often in the Dolphin in London. There's ways to enjoy it, even if you're not in the ballot and you're not successful.
Exactly. You got a CJ there, scrap loyalty points. I tell you what, you go and tell that to the people who's got 100 points, my guy. I tell you what, they probably had you for breakfast as well. Sean Hart saying, how are kids supposed to get away tickets now? Even less chance now with the ballot system. It is hard. It's really hard as well. But now season ticket holders have 0 points have a chance. I bet a very small chance. That's the Stephen Connolly as well. Listen, I mean, guys, at the end of the day, right? I mean, I know I'm gonna try, but the thing is, let's put it this way: if I get a ticket, guys, right, and people's got 100 points, can I get one? Let's be real, I'll be embarrassed. Paul,
Yeah,
I'll be embarrassed.
It's a tough one, mate. Because I know, I'll knock on wood, when I go to buy those tickets tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, I should be absolutely fine because I've got way more than 100 points. I've gained way more than that in my time seeing Newcastle, so I should be fine. But if I don't get them, it'd be it'd be like, oh, okay, well there you go. I'll just have to enter the ballot, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I was going to say, I'm a bit with you, John. I'd feel embarrassed too. I haven't been for a long time. My season tickets expired in the last century. Doesn't make me less of a fan. Doesn't make anybody less of a fan if they can't go. But there's other ways. So going to this celebration at the weekend. There's other ways to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I can't see a solution. I can't see, we should change it to this or we should change it to that. That isn't a solution. So we just have to make the best of it, I think.
100%. I mean, the one who's got 100 points deserves a ticket because you work hard for it. Good on you as well. There's a club, I'm not going to mention a club, right? I mean, if you go to a away game, you're there for 3 seasons. After that, someone else gets a go. That would never happen in Newcastle United in my book as well. KB Hendel said the atmosphere would be terrible, full of tourists and one game a season. As good luck getting to the games, as all the supporter clubs that run buses will be folding too. And I know what it is there, Louise, right? On that tweet there, right? They mentioned about tourists, right? I mean, do you think our football clubs are going to be like that? I mean, going to be full of tourists sort of thing? Are they going to put them first before the real fans? Or if they do that, I think it's going to be a mess. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will, but it depends on your definition of a tourist. I've written recently that I think having affinity with Newcastle makes you a Geordie. If you're decent, you've got affinity, that's enough. So I also don't like the people who are being a bit insular. I don't like the approach of the people who are being a bit insular and saying, we're Geordies in Newcastle and nobody else can be. I don't think that's right either. And I think with the club expanding and bringing that money in and bringing the success that we're getting, we can't be that insular. Speaking as a Geordie away, we've got to open up and welcome that. So depends on your definition of a tourist. I do agree that you have to watch the atmosphere, and it'd be interesting to see if the atmosphere falls flat, then maybe that's an indication that we haven't got the balance right.
I agree. I totally agree. We've got a fantastic away base as well. Everyone knows that as well. I think, like I said, in my opinion, just keep it how it is. And we need the atmosphere for away games. We need to. We don't want happy clappers, Paul. That would not be great for atmosphere at all whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, there's some, I mean, it's always a pleasure, like being at St. James's and hearing a great away team. And you think, great, we've got a really good opposition there. It's really nice. They get really involved, as much as they get stick, Man United fans, away fans are one of the best. Like they really are. Like they're really, really loud and just don't shut up. They're really, really good away. But and even Man City fans, away fans, are quite loyal. It's a tough one because I do, I've been to the Etihad and maybe I don't. Have you been there as well, John?
Never been to that yet.
Okay, just
never,
because
ever been that yet.
I've heard that atmosphere. When they're pumping a team, or just winning, it is dead, and it is true. It's not it's not a meme. It's not a joke. It can be really dead in there. I've heard them. When they scored was it the third goal? I can't remember what they beat us by. When we played them at the Etihad last season, sorry.
2-0.
Thank you, yeah. And I just remember the second goal going in, and it was, it was just literally, a couple of claps. And, it was just like, I was saying to a few of the guys in the away end, it was just like, I really hope this is never us, just because, they're just so used to winning. They're just too used to it. And a few Man City fans were saying that to me when I was questioning them outside of I was saying a bit of a shambolic atmosphere. Well, so a bit like Anfield. Anfield's a bit of a false atmosphere as well. Like when they get going, they are a good atmosphere. But again, like when they just beat us the other, last season, they were quiet until that goal went in. And I mean, like a pin drop. They all said like how annoying, but in a good way, the Newcastle away were, because we're louder than them. So it's just one of those things where you don't want to lose that, because that'd be horrible, wouldn't it? Because we're so known for it. Everyone who knows our away lot and home lot as well know that we're a really good atmosphere.
I know, and you know what it is though. We make it so fantastic, Louise. You know what I mean? The thing is, right? We're never going to change. We're going to take off the numbers away from home. We're going to make some noise, and we're going to out-sing them. Simple as that.
That's what we've got to do, and it's what we've got to get united. We've got to stop all of this discussion and just accept where we are, unless there's anything totally unreasonable. Accept where we are, get behind the club, and have a great season. We've got so much to be excited about, and we just need to turn it around, I think, a bit in terms of our attitude and approach at the moment. We've got to get more positive and get behind them. I'm looking forward to it.
100%. And one little last tweet as well for the day before we close the show. I mean, Jamie Smith, question here. I have 150 points. My son has 0. If I want to try and take him, can I get a ticket on my points, then enter him into the ballot? If he's not successful, can I return my ticket? Or is it a ballot for me too? Oh, that's a difficult one. That looks like a difficult one, because for me, I think he can go, but I don't think he can take his son go. I mean, he may have to go in the ballot. Will he be successful or not? That's another kettle of fish, guys. I don't know about that one. So if he's going to 50 points, he'll definitely go to the games, but his son, I'm not so sure.
It's tough, and then you can see why, when that's kind of splitting families, you can see why it is painful and difficult. But I just don't see one way that's going to make it better for everybody. One thing I was going to say, John, I feel a bit guilty that we're recorded here and nobody's having a chance to come back at us. I'm wondering if there are people watching this thinking, they're so wrong. So I'm looking forward to getting the feedback. Tell us what people's views are. Tell us where you think we're wrong. Tell us how it could be better. That's what I'd really like to hear. If you think that what we're saying is wrong, tell us how it should be better.
Absolutely. I mean, that's good. I was going to say as well. I mean, to the comments, if you got anything, if you agree with our comments, if you've got any ideas, what solution is about the weird ticket ballots, do you think people like us, season ticket holders, 0 points and that should be entered into a ballot, or do you think it should be the same? Or do you agree with the 74 quid price tag as well? Would you pay that sort of money? Leave the comments in the section below, like Louise said as well, and then we get back to you as well. So, what's the solution now, Paul? What can we do? What are the club going to do about it? There's little you can do about it right now.
No, I think this is where, I mean, the positive is, like, after everything that's happened, the positive is that they've taken on true feedback from real fans, and they've changed it for the better. And you've seen 90%, 95% positive, I'd say. There's still some negativity, but whatever fan base you're going to get some people, annoyed about nothing. I think it's a really positive thing that, yesterday I felt a bit uneasy about the decision, because it did feel a bit like, wow, that's 70 quid. Like, if I only had so much money in my account, as I said, like, what would I do? Like, I don't know. If I know that money's being taken like that, it's a bit difficult. But the good thing is, we said 24 hours, pretty much they've come back and said, you know what, we've listened to you. Thank you for your feedback. And we really appreciate it. And we've changed it. So the good thing is, if they make another plan next season or whatever, the good thing is, which is nice to know, is that if we have an issue with it and it's a genuine one, they will change it. And they're open to an open conversation. It's something they promised us, which is something they're everything they've done since they've come in has been so positive. Like, it really has. We were joking on Twitter about, I remember when everyone was like, oh, you're just happy you have loads of money. Mate, we were happy when they were cleaning St. James's Park. Literally, we saw them with a jet washer. It was all over Twitter. Someone with a jet washer was all over Twitter. It was just like, someone's washing it, finally. Someone's taking the bird off the Gallagate. It's been up there since, Shearer scored. And this is what the fans want. They don't care about the money, don't care about all this. They care that we're listened to, and it's a passionate fan base. And the positive thing going forward that hopefully calms some nerves, and it seems to have done that, is if we have a genuine problem and it's a thing they see, at least they'll be willing to be like, you know what, guys, Now you said it and we thought about it. We were a bit wrong there. Let's see what we can do to make it better. That's better than some clubs can say.
Totally agree. And you know what it is, right? I mean, credit to our board, credit to the owners as well. What they've done is absolutely correct. I think we've got the best owners now. That's been proved, Louise. We have got the best owners in the Premier League. Forget the Glaciers, forget the Tardburys, forget
anybody,
exactly. Just get them out of the way. You know what I mean? But we have got the best owners. Louise, your final thoughts are our owners.
Awesome, incredible. They really care. I love them to bits, and we're going to get extensions. So we are going to get the fan zone. We're going to get the stadium made bigger. So things are going to change for the better.
100%. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there for the Twitter React show. So we first one. Hope there's many more to come for Twitter Reacts, as well as big news, breaking news. We're definitely going to do Twitter Reacts again. I think it's a cracking show. And if you like the video, like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe. And as always, and if you leave it in the comment section down below as well, give us your thoughts as well, please. And until then, guys, I'll be back with another one. Until then, away the lads.